In Chapter 17, we have another defeat boss map, yay! This time we must defeat the Master Ninja, Kotaro. He's infamous for being super dodgy, and he lies at the end of a sprawling maze that heavily attempts to slow our progress. There's debuffing enemies, caltrops we have to disable with a lock touch user, and stone pillars we have to raise and lower with dragon veins. This presents a very involved movement-focused challenge, the likes of which we haven't really seen since Chapter 12. To help with this, I give our new boots to Korin for +1 movement, which will continue to be useful in most future clears. Now that Fumi's reached level 10, I can promote her into Falcon Knight. This gives her rescue access, and once she reaches level 5, she'll learn rally speed. Both of these aspects, on top of flight, will be super important for the late game. I also promote Laszlo this chapter, opting for Bow Knight. Now he has 8 movement and provides +1 movement on pair up, which will help him keep up with the rest of our army while providing fancy footwork. Alright, now let's get excited for everyone's favorite set of chapters. Woo! Camilla will continue to be my boss killer, and here she needs to cross a minimum of 35 tiles. This means she needs to move 4 times, which as we know by now can be done in 2 turns. With a refresh turn 1, she can reach a specific halfway point, and then with another refresh turn 2, she can reach Kotaro. To set things up, I clear the first caltrops with Kaze, toggle the pillars with Leo, have Korin separate Baruka forward, and apply fancy footwork with Laszlo. Then to get Camilla in place, I have Korin separate her behind a pillar after a refresh. At this spot, Korin is out of range of the northern ninjas, and Camilla is too bulky to be targeted by anyone. So everyone will wrap around the east to attack Korin, leaving the tiles in front of the pillar unblocked. Next, I use a shelter saying to have Laszlo move forward a second time, ending 2 tiles east of Baruka. This way, both he and Baruka can ferry para partners to Korin and Camilla next turn. Now we can shift our attention to the west, where we can set up a few kills. Xander gets Gunter in range of a Master Ninja behind a wall, and Fumi flies in range of a ninja, making sure they won't attack from a pillar. Odin follows, just to further increase their reliability next turn. I left Korin with a tome in their inventory, so the Shrine Maiden will use silence on him, instead of healing Gunter's Master Ninja. This way, Xander only needs to land 1 of 2 dual strikes for Gunter to kill, which is 99.9% reliable. Fumi has a great chance for some chip XP against this ninja, and gets off enough damage to easily finish the kill next turn. Camilla needs the hand axe equipped to keep the ninjas from attacking her. This means Korin can't rely on her dual strike to defeat these automatons, but Rose's Thorns and fancy footwork lets Korin one round even after the Saw's -4 attack debuff.
Sorry.
Turn 2, Azura and Niles pair into Laszlo and Baruka. Now Laszlo can transfer Azura to Korin and apply fancy footwork to Camilla, and Baruka can fly across the caltrops to transfer Niles to Camilla. Then Silas ferries Leo to the next Dragon Vein, putting the stone pillar in front of Camilla back down. Before defeating the boss though, let's get our kills in the west. If Fumi had missed the ninja, Odin could get in some damage here, so Fumi can always use Xander's dual strike to reliably kill. Next, Gunter also uses Xander's attack stance to finish his Master Ninja. Then, Xander can get a kill for himself, with our new butler Jacob weakening the Master Ninja to the north for him. Jacob joined automatically last chapter, and while he won't do much, he at least has some nice accurate chip damage this part. Now back to Camilla. She flies ahead with her 8+1 movement, then Korin with his boots can chase right behind her, switching to Azura for a sing. Then another 9 movement is just enough to let Camilla reach Kotaro, exactly one rounding with fancy footwork and Niles' pair-up. Camilla typically has terrible hit rate against him on lunatic runs, but with a -20 avoid tag on normal, -20 avoid from having his flame shuriken equipped on normal, and another -20 avoid from Camilla's Heartseeker, Camilla reaches exactly 100 hits even with the Iron Axe. And that's chapter 17, completed in 2 turns. Turns out, Ninja Cave isn't so bad when you ignore most of the enemies, and the boss has 40 less avoid than you're used to. And by winning so quickly, we easily met the side goal of protecting Saizo, which earns us a Speedwing. That'll be huge for Corrin to keep up with doubling thresholds. Moving on, Chapter 18 celebrates the end of our series of defeat boss maps by having not just one boss, but 3. In the north, there's the sorcerer Zola, who's guarded by heroes, other sorcerers, and a maid with Enfeeble. And to the south, there's a pair of generals, who are guarded by paladins, other generals, and a strategist with Freeze. On top of having guard stance active, the general bosses also have the skill Wary Fighter, which means the first general will be immune to dual strikes, and both are immune to follow-up attacks. To help combat these challenges, I've upgraded the armory and bought some new specialty weapons: a Beast Killer, a Hammer, and Lightning. This will give Baruka and Leo their big shining moments, as they break through the strongest defensive profile we've seen yet. None of the bosses are too far away, and we can reach them pretty easily in 2 turns. However, to defeat the general bosses, I'll need to get 3 units down there: Baruka, Leo, and Azura. To set this up, I use a Sing to get Baruka in the central hallway, while showing off the huge power of the hammer and its 36 effective mites. Then with the Shelter Sing, I refresh Silas, who can then ferry Leo to the central hallway. In doing so, Leo can separate Silas right behind him, so Silas will be able to ferry Azura to sing for Leo next turn. The 3 also hold the hallway's choke points, so the enemies won't end up blocking us. As for the north, I have Corrin and Camilla team up again. With a swap and lunge, Corrin gets into the northern room. So Corrin can ferry Camilla to crush Zola turn 2, while staying the lead unit on turn 1 to get some kills on enemy phase. Then for the east, we can continue setting up kills for Gunter and Xander. This hero has a 97.5% chance to unpair Azura and Fumi. This will be great, but not necessary for this chapter. By leaving Corrin in range of this maid, he forces her to attack overusing Enfeeble.
Sorry. You'll be alright.
Leo always chooses Baruka for attack stance over Silas because they have the supports. With the Hammer dual strike, Leo defeats this general and gets enough experience for his first level up. This gives him a magic growth, which he'll need for the general bosses next turn.
More to come. I'll do what no one else can.
With a speed tonic, Corrin could actually double and 1-drown these heroes. However, this would mean killing the hero he lunged on player phase, and I'd rather that hero get weakened and move to attack Azura. And there aren't enough heroes to block Corrin's path north, so it'll still work out.
Reminds me of the old days. Watch out!
There's a 5% chance the Mjolnir Sorcerer crits Corrin. This would mean missing out on a nice point of weapon rank, but otherwise doesn't matter.
Stand close.
With its 30 effective might, Xander can Oko Paladins with the Beast Killer. And with attack stance from Niles, he reaches 100 hits. This will let Xander get 2 kills on enemy phase, plus a third on next player phase, earning enough experience to reach level 5. On top of some growths, this will earn Xander Defender for +1 to all stats when paired up. I don't think this will actually matter for my run, but I wanted to show that you can get Xander a level up before Chapter 19. Which could be important if you wanted to use Xander in a stronger combat role and you plan to reclass him soon. And as we'll see, there are some great benefits to reclassing Xander coming up. Because Azura died, she was revived separated from Fumi, so Haitaka can further weaken the hero for Fumi to kill. If the hero had missed Azura, then Fumi's +1 move parry bonus would still let her beat Silas, but I'd have to rework future clears a bit to get Fumi more experience. Now let's pick up our kills in the east. The Sorcerer kill isn't actually that tight if you deploy someone stronger than Felicia, but I thought it would be cute to have all the servants working together. In the end, I'm still able to get Gunter a kill, getting him well over his 2nd level up. Just half a level to go until Rally Skill. Xander got hit by Freeze, but he can still reach one of the enemies that attacked him at 2 range by trading the Siegfried from Niles, doubling thanks to the spear's -5 effective speed penalty.
Not enough.
Now it's time for the boss kills. Baruka strikes first, using the hammer and Charlotte's fighter pair-up stats to hit the first general hard. Next, Leo finishes the kill, with Pragmatic giving him the damage to kill while using fire for perfect hits. We only have one more action for the last general, but with Guard Stance no longer active, a second action from Leo is all we need. Baruka's Dual Strike adds 15 damage, and by switching to Lightning, Leo trades 2 might for a Brave effect, a form of doubling that Wary Fighter cannot block. This skyrockets Leo's damage, letting him defeat one of Conquest's bulkiest enemies in just 1 round. Lastly, we just have to defeat Zola in the north. He has a lot of resistance, a throne, and Nosferatu, but Camilla works around this by hitting super hard with the dual club. Even if he could land Nosferatu, she would still kill, and Heartseeker, Corn Supportive, and double weapon triangle advantage ensures perfect hits. And that's Chapter 18 completed in 2 turns. We won't see Defeat Boss again until Chapter 25, so let's lock in for some victory conditions that push either our combats or movements even further. In Chapter 19, it's a case of tough combat, as we have our last route map of the run. The enemies are all Kitsune, but they keep a decent variety of stats between their promoted and unpromoted forms, and either having a Beast Stone for a speed boost or a Beast Rune for a defense boost. Plus, some Kitsune have an illusion form that toggles on and off, indicated by a leaf icon, during which they can neither attack nor be attacked. This, on top of all the mountain and woods terrain, makes reliably fighting a bunch of Kitsune a chore that must be handled with the utmost of care. Perfectly suited for such a task is our new maid, Flora, who became available in the MyCastle after last chapter. She has innate dagger access and a huge skill stat, which paired with a newly purchased hunter's knife, will let her fill in the gaps for Corrin and Camilla beautifully. For further team changes, I have 2 seals to use. First, I promote Selena into Bow Knight. She has to promote eventually to become a Falcon Knight, and she might as well do it now to give us another unit that provides movement and skill on pair-up. Then I use our last Heart Seal until Chapter 21 to reclass Xander into Wyvern Lord. He loses access to Siegfried, but now he can use Shelter while flying, and take over Baruka's role as a strong, flying tank. Alright, we've got the right team and equipment, so let's see just how reliably we can freeze these foxes. To break up the map, we start in the southeast, and there are groups of Kitsune in the other 3 corners. I'm sending Camilla to sweep the northwest, with one Sing setting her up to reach Kaden by turn 3. Because of the illusions, this is the earliest we can clear the chapter, so moving forward any faster wouldn't be useful. The 3 Kitsune with leaf icons here have odd turn illusions, and the other 3 have even turn illusions. So after they switch on enemy phase, Camilla will kill the ones we see with leaves now. For the northeast, I have Flora lead the filler units into battle. She's way too slow to double anything, but like we saw with Odin, one rounding isn't everything. Rather, her job is to hit really hard with the Hunter's Knife, keeping near perfect hit despite the Kitsune's huge avoid, and have just enough bulk to survive multiple attacks. I had Baruka ferry Flora onto a mountain to help with this bulk, and then to block off the Kitsune from using the mountain themselves, I have Xander shelter sing his way next to Flora. None of the northeastern Kitsune have illusions, but to make sure I can finish them all next turn, I get one out of the way now. Korn will eventually sweep the southwest, but the first group over there has even turn illusions, so they'll switch on turn 1 enemy phase. As such, I might as well just have Korn stick back with everyone else, while they handle the tutorial Kitsune, who has odd turn illusions. With this positioning, I force them to attack into Hitaka off a Woods tile. Hitaka doesn't need the experience, but he's a unit that can draw attention by getting doubled, while still surviving and getting off reliable damage. The one enemy type Flora does one round is unpromoted Kitsune with Beast Stones. It's good she can get these Kitsune out of the way, so the Ninetales have room to attack Flora when it's their time to act.
Must I restrain myself? What shall I do next?
Because we gave Camilla an arm scroll after reclassing into Wyvern, she has D-lances and can wield the Beast Killer to obliterate Kitsune. Her only problem is being almost too bulky to be targeted, as after this level up, she'll no longer take damage from Beast Stone Kitsune. Thankfully, there's only one in her corner, and it attacks first. Even with all her skill and the +4 hit boost from being adjacent to Xander, Flora doesn't quite reach 100 hit against the Beast Stone Ninetales, even off terrain. 98 listed is near perfect, of course, but you can see how any other dagger user would not be up to my standards. Her decent natural bulk, plus Baruka's pair-up, also lets her tank even through a crit. Even against the slower Beast Rune users, Camilla's Heartseeker is already coming into play, letting her reach 100 hit through terrain. Without Heartseeker, her hit would be in the 90s here, and would get even worse once the Beast Stone Ninetales start attacking. In total, she has 9 enemies to fight, so this would add up to some really rough reliability.
Aww.
Turn 2, Hitaka finishes the first Kitsune. By unequipping Hitaka's Seal Defense, I made sure Gunter could kill with his Dual Strike, getting some experience before pairing into Korn for the rest of the map. Now that all the Kitsune in the southwest have grouped up, Korn gets a boost from Laszlo and flies over to get in range of them all. This area has a lot of terrain, and the best I could do was leave Korn with only one adjacent woods tile. There's 5 enemies with even turn illusions, but the other 3 Ninetales don't have illusions at all. So we can attack every enemy this enemy phase, and 3 will also be available next enemy phase. Fumi takes this player phase to finish the Ninetales Flora just barely didn't kill, using other units' dual strikes for reliability's sake. Leo gets 100 hit thanks to Heartseeker and Selena's pair-up, and Flora gets 100 hit after switching to a Bronze Dagger. For the next group of Ninetales, Flora and Xander inch forward, staying adjacent to keep the enemies off the mountain and away from Fumi. Flora needs to heal, but Xander can attack the Beast Stone Ninetales, either killing or setting up Flora to kill on enemy phase. Lastly, Camilla moves forward and heals, getting in range to attack Kaden next turn, while staying in range of the current illusions. Kitsune have a lot of resistance, but Korn makes use of his mixed offense to one-round even the Beast Rune Kitsune. I used my second Forge of the run on a Bronze Axe +1, so with fancy footwork and Gunter support, Corrin just barely reaches the doubling and damage thresholds while keeping near-perfect reliability. The first two enemies to attack are Beastrue and Kitsune, so even on the Woods tile, Corrin reaches 100 hits. Next is the Beastone Kitsune. Without Ninetales plus 10 avoid boost, Corrin also reaches 100 hits.
That went well. You'll be all right.
Unlike Corrin, Camilla continues to not exactly reach her thresholds, but completely surpass them.
Poor thing.
Next for Corrin is the 3 Ninetales that never have illusions, starting with a Beastone. He only has an 88.7% chance to land 2 85 listed hits, but he could finish the kill next enemy phase, so that's acceptable. Corrin doesn't have the damage to one-round Beastrue Ninetales, but in leaving this enemy alive, they'll block the one Woods tile adjacent to Corrin. Now he goes up to 95 displayed hit against the Beastone Ninetales for a 97.8% chance to kill. And after a level up, this goes up to 97 displayed for a 98.8% chance.
That went well. You'll be all right.
While we're on Flora, I'd like to mention that I initially attempted to clear this chapter with Kaze as my Hunter's Knife user. He could double and one round, but his hit rates were down in the 80s, and he would need several dodges to survive. I think he can work with a ton of previous training, but I was very happy to discover that Flora can reliably land and survive every attack, while being a team player and setting up kills. This second Beastrue Ninetales is part of the group with odd turn illusions, so we have to kill them between this enemy phase and next player phase. Likewise, Corrin has to land these 97s before this Beastone Ninetales becomes an illusion. That's 99.4% reliable. All this fighting earns Corrin C-rank axes, ironically providing plus 5 hits just in time for it to not matter. Against Beastone Ninetales on Woods, Camilla's hit finally dips below 100. She only needs to land one of 2 98 listed hits though, for a 99.999% chance of success.
That's all?
Turn 3, Corrin needs to finish the Beastrue Ninetales with illusions on player phase, which we can remember as the one with the talisman. The other is part of the group without illusions, so we can defeat them on enemy phase. In the northeast, I again have the option to set up 2 kills for Fumi, and if I didn't have Xander kill a Ninetales last player phase, I could have even set up a 3rd kill for Fumi with a Shelter Sing. But because Fumi got enough experience in the last 2 chapters, I can afford to only give her 1 kill this turn, which will open up a new strategy. After killing one Ninetales with Laszlo, and weakening the other with Leo, Fumi transfers Azura over to Xander before getting the kill with Xander's Dual Strike. We now still have Flora with Baruka and Xander with Azura free to act. Flora moves west and switches to Baruka, so after Xander ferries Azura for a Sing, Baruka can fly Flora to the northwest. This puts Flora in range to target Caden with Freeze, for an 80% chance to lower his avoid by 20. This does leave Flora in range of a generic Ninetales, but with a mountain to their south, Camilla will block them from reaching Flora once she moves to attack Caden. He has even turn illusions, so Camilla has to nail this Oko on player phase before he transforms. By herself, Camilla would only have 86 displayed hits, but Flora's icy contributions bring Camilla's success rate up to 99%. If Corrin had missed one of those 85s earlier, he would have to dodge at least one attack this chapter to survive beyond this Ninetales and finish the kill. I think the odds for Corrin to miss and get hit by everything is only around 2% though.
You'll be all right.
Kaidan's group is the opposite of Kaidan, with odd turn illusions. This works out great, as Camilla can defeat them both on turn 3 enemy phase, after defeating the one boss on turn 3 player phase.
Did it hurt?
And that's chapter 19, completed in 3 turns. My calculations for Corrin were a little rough, but I'm pretty sure that I have over a 95% chance for a turn 3 victory, especially if we consider Corrin had a 50% chance to get a goddess icon in chapter 15 for a +2 hit and avoid. And if anything did go wrong, I could still play around the illusions and win turn 4, leaving us with an expected turn count loss less than 0.5, which under my rule set rounds down to 0. Pedantic number crunching aside, this was a nice change of pace, but I'm glad to put Conquest's more infamous chapters behind us as we transition into the late game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.